Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member Neal. Today, I urge my colleagues in the Ways and Means Committee to support the Taxpayer Due Process Enhancement Act, bipartisan legislation that enhances taxpayer rights by making needed corrections to the collections proceedings. I want to thank Congresswoman Terry Sewell for joining me once again and introducing legislation that makes common sense policy changes to the tax court. We are beginning to make a great team, and this is another great piece of bipartisan legislation. The recent Supreme Court decision in Commissioner versus Zook exposed major inconsistencies in tax court procedure that disproportionately and negatively impact taxpayers in collection proceedings. This bill works to correct three main problematic areas of these types of disputes by protecting deadlines, safeguarding refunds, and ensuring judicial review, all for the benefit of the taxpayer. First, this bill pauses the refund clock during disputes. Under current law, if a taxpayer goes before the tax court to dispute a tax bill the IRS believes is owed, the taxpayer in many circumstances loses the ability to file for a refund of the disputed tax if the tax court proceeding lasts longer than 3 years and the taxpayer has not pursued all of their administrative remedies during the pendency of that tax court proceeding. As we all know, tax court proceedings can last well beyond 3 years, which often leaves taxpayers without any remedy if the IRS finds a way to make the tax court proceeding go away after the 3-year mark like it did in Zook. The way the law is currently written, taxpayers lose the ability to receive the tax refund they deserve, even if the court agrees that they do not owe the disputed amount the IRS is requesting. That is not a just result, and we do not want procedural technicalities to lead to unjust rulings against the taxpayer in disputes with the IRS. Second, this bill stops the IRS from taking refunds to pay off disputed debts without the consent of the taxpayer. For years, the IRS has been allowed to quietly credit overpayments towards disputed debts, oftentimes causing the original dispute to end before reaching a fair resolution because the debt has been zeroed out and tax court jurisdiction is lost on the original dispute. Oftentimes this happens, as it did in the Zuck case, once trial before the tax court is imminent and the IRS comes to a realization that it will not be successful. Under this bill, though, the taxpayer is protected from this outcome and would have to provide consent for future overpayments to be credited toward the original disputed debt if they are in collections proceedings before the tax court. This issue is the core matter addressed by this bill and has long been overlooked by Congress until now. Third, and finally, this bill expands access for the tax court to make sure it maintains its jurisdiction over the case and the underlying liability, even if the IRS abandons the case. This ensures proper judicial review of the taxpayer's case, regardless of whether the IRS decides to pursue collection efforts. The Taxpayer Due Process Enhancement Act is essential legislation that defends the rights of taxpayers. At its core, it advances a simple principle. No taxpayer should lose their rights simply because they choose to pursue those rights in tax court, and procedural gamesmanship by the IRS should not be supported in legislation. This bill restores due process, guarantees procedural fairness, and ensures that taxpayers can fully exercise the rights Congress has granted to them. A tax system, even an efficient one, must be a just one. When ordinary taxpayers challenge the government, the rules of the road should not be stacked against them, and this bill ensures that they are not. Today, I urge my colleagues, all of them, to support the Taxpayer Due Process Enhancement Act and to join me in reaffirming our commitment to transparency, accountability, and a taxpayer-friendly, judicially appropriate tax administrative process. Thank you, and I yield back.